So if you have calculator with you, then I want you to take it out as well. Alrighty, guys. Now, so let me share my calculator here as well. So I'm gonna convert this one into matrix. Since I have a 2 rows and 3 columns, then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go to the matrix here. Second, matrix is x to the -1 right over there. And I guess I'll be using A. And then I'm gonna go for edit in order for me to input the values. Some of you guys might have simply, it says 1 by 1. And you just have one thing inputted. But what I want to do is I want to do 2 by 3. That means 2 row by 3 columns. And then first column is the coefficients of x, second column is coefficients of y, and third column is the results. So we have 1, 1, 4, 1, 2, 2. That's what I have to type in on the first one. 1, 1, 4, 1, 2, 2. Now, second row is 11, 15. Okay. And then the value was a 5, 5, 3, 2, 3, 4. And once you type those things in, I'm gonna put that into whiteboard over here. Once you put that in, what I need you to do is this. I need you to go back and then quit. Go to the home screen and go back to matrix. And this time we're gonna do math because we're gonna do some operation on that. Go all the way down to RREF. Press enter. And then you wanna retrieve the matrix that which you plugged in already. So in our case, it will be second matrix A, number 1, right? Close that up and press enter. There it goes. So as you can see from here, this value is the answer for the first one. In our case, it will be D. And this value is the answer for the second variable, which is E. So in our case, they are looking for E value, right? How many people use the garage during the weekends? Then our answer would have been 1973. That's how we can do this question. All right. So this is, you have to know how to use matrix. It's much better for you, especially for section 4. All right, guys. Now we're gonna be looking at number 21. So here, at a high school, asked 200 underclassmen and a 200 upperclassmen. I guess when you add them up, it becomes 200 each, I guess. How many hours they spent on homework the previous night? There are 680 underclassmen and 600 upperclassmen in the school. All right. What is the median number? Median is the middle number of the hours spent on homework by those students who are surveyed. So basically that means we're talking about everybody, not just what you call it, under nor upper. Everybody. Those are all the students who's been surveyed. So that means out of how many people? 400 people. Now, if you look at 400 people, it's even number. How do you calculate the median of the middle number? That's the average of the two middle numbers. So then, what's the average? What's the two middle numbers of 200 set of data? Will be 200th and 200th first. So in order for me to, this is relatively easy enough for us to do this one by hand. If you want, you can use calculator as well, actually. So what I'm going to do is, since I don't have to distinguish under versus upper, so I'm going to add them up together. So this becomes 30, and next one is what, 120, and next one is what, 170. I'm looking at 200th and then 200th first. Where do I belong? I think I already have an answer because this is 30, and up to here total 150. Up to here is 150. So that means my 200th or 201st place will be right over here, which is 3. That's how we can calculate the median of the everybody who was surveyed, right? Now, so that's what we can do. That was number 21. All right. Now, the next question that was asked was number 22 and the number 23. Okay, so number 22, 23, 24, and 26, 7, 8, 9. Okay, got it. So let's try to look at number 22. So this question is based upon the same data before. Based upon this data, which of the following most accurately describes the expected total number of students who spent 5 hours on the homework last night? 5 hours? All right, so then let me try to go back and see what's going on here. So based upon this data, did you realize that 5 hours on the homework, that means we're looking at 10 or 10 here. Both of them happen to be 10. And what's the relationship? It's going to be what? 10 out of 20 and then 10 out of 20. So each one is representing 5%. Ah, happen to be same percentages. But we are actually talking about the actual number of students. So this would have been in case of underclassmen, how many people were there? There are 680. So we are looking at 5%, meaning 0.05 of 680. And we need to figure out how many people we would have had. That belongs to underclassmen. How about upperclassmen? It'd be what, 5% of 600. So let's try to calculate that for a second. For the first one, I'm getting 34 students. For the second one, I'm getting 30 students. So therefore, there are 4 more underclassmen than upperclassmen. So therefore, choice B seems to be the answer. That's basically what we can do. Is that okay, guys? That was number 23. I mean, number 22. Let's look at number 23. So it says Harold prepared a sample of bacteria. A strain of virus killed 30% of the bacteria, but within a week, the surviving population has grown 47%. So now, first, killed 30% and then grown 47%. Which of the following represents the value of the original population in terms of the current? So original, let me call that as X. But what happened is it killed 30%, so that means I have 0.7 of the original population survived. After that, 47% has been increased. So that means what are we going to do? I'm going to write that as 1.47 because 47% increased from original, which is 100. Now then, but that has to be equal to our current population P. So what is the value of x? We just have to divide by those two coefficients. So then p over what? 1.47 times 0.7. So that becomes our answer. Which is choice? C becomes the answer. How about that, guys? Not bad. So that was number 23. So now let's move on to number 24. All right, in case of number 24, we're talking about the radius. Now, as I told you, I think last time, we can easily find the center. I mean, even in this case, watch this one, guys. What would have been the center, guys, right away? Yeah, that's right. Center is in fact equal to x is equal to what? 0. And y would have been equal to what? Oh, because this one actually will give you y minus 5, isn't it? Yeah? So center will be equal to 0, comma 5. Very, very easy for you to find the center. So, I just wanted to share that idea on the side, even though they weren't asking for center. And in fact, there's a reason why I have given you this one. All right, guys. Now, then let's talk about the rest here. Then in this case, in order for you to find the radius, you actually have to complete the square. So how are you going to do it? X squared plus y squared minus 10y, and giving myself some blank, and then 9. Of course, here, what do I need to do? I need to add 25, because that's the what? Dividing negative 10 by 2, and then square that. And that gets me 25. And I have to do that same thing on the other side as well. Okay? So then, what do you guys realize then? Okay, here that becomes what? 34. So this is in fact r squared. So then our r value will be square root of 34. That's basically what we can do. Is that clear, guys? Yeah? Alrighty. Alright then. So that's basically what we have here. Now let's move on to the next question. Number? I believe it was, and then 36,789. 36,789. Around 26,789. Alright, so let's look at this question. This is number 26. So t is equal to, given in this way. The equation above describes the period t. T is the period of an oscillating object attached to a spring in terms of mass m and spring constant k. All right, so we got that one. Okay. Now, for two systems with the same spring constant, which is this k value is the same, object 1 has mass of 25 times of the object 2. So that means if one of them is mass of m, the other one will be mass of what? 25m. What fraction of the period period of the object 1 is the object 2? So when you think about it, let's talk about it, guys. For the first one, 2 pi m. In fact, object 1 has 25 times the mass of object 2. So I'm going to, instead of writing down m, I'm going to write down 25m over k. And period 2 will be 2 pi m over k. Now, did you realize that they will be, they're very similar, except I can bring out 25, can't I? This, in fact, is equal to 5 times 2 pi square root of m over k. And then you can see that how this one repeated itself. That's why I didn't multiply 5 and 2. The reason is I wanted to simulate the relationship between the second condition and first condition. Now, if you do that, then what do you realize, guys? T1 is 5 times of T2. So this one is what? 1/5 of the T1. So that therefore choice B becomes the answer. All right, guys. Now let's look at number 27. Oops. So for this question, what we are trying to do is, if the system of inequality, this one and then the other one, were graphed on the xy plane shown above, which of the following quadrants would contain at least one solution? So basically, where's the solution? That's what they're asking for. Now, what you guys can do is this. You can try to do this one by hand if you choose to do so. We'll try to do that, and then we will also try to do that with the calculator as well. We will do it in both ways. 4, let me try to do the color coordination here. This one I'm going to use the blue. So slope is 1/3, y-intercept is 2, so then y-intercept is 2, let us say. Slope is 1/3, so what if I were to put it this way? And y is less than that. When y is less, then we need to shade section that's underneath the line. Because in this case, they're actually asking you to sketch it, but in SAT, what they're looking for is this. In this kind of inequalities, they are more concerned about the understanding of the idea rather than sketching it itself. But this is a practice question, so it's good for us to practice, practice sketching anyway. Second one is y-intercept is 4, and then slope is 1/2, so it's a bit steeper than this one. So that means y. Okay, so 4 here, and then slope is a bit steeper. Something along that. I'm not sure if they're meeting up here or not, but that's basically what's happening. And then, maybe I can technically go through this way. And then the thing is, y has to be greater. Y has to be greater. That means there's no overlapping section. Oh, except right over here. Oh, okay. That's the only portion where they'll be intersecting, which means section 3. Quadrant 3 would have been the answer there for choice B. That's what you can do, right? And of course, you know that you can do this one using the calculator. How can you do it? Take out your calculator, y equals. First, write up the equation, which is what? 1/3 x plus 2. Alpha y equals, to give us a fraction, 1/3 x plus 2. But the thing is, y is less than the expression, so y has to be less. How do you do that? I need you to go all the way to here. Press enter, and the line y is less, so then that means what? In these two shades below, just like this one, lower triangle, right? And press OK. So we have done that. How about the second one? Second one is y is greater than 1/2 x plus 4. The second one, it's greater, so I'm just gonna Go for greater. Okay, so shaded above, greater. And then y is 1 over 2. And then, oops, x, and then plus 4. And what we want to do is we want to sketch them on the standard number 6. So let's see what happens. That's the first one. Oh, I don't see that, but actually what's happening is they're meeting up right over there. So if I have to set the window a bit bigger, especially to the x sections, instead of saying -10, maybe I'll call it as -20. And sketch that again. Oh no, maybe I changed the y. I should have changed x. -10. What I meant was x -20. The graph. So as you can see, they're meeting up right over here. And you can easily see that that's also quadrant 3 as well. All right, guys. So we've been looking at some practices from last week, homework. But the thing is, there are a lot more questions. So what I'm going to do is this: I'm going to come back to this homework later. Is it okay? I'm going to come back to this question homework, but let's try to practice just a little bit. Right now, I want you guys to go to the practice section of our Google Classroom. All right, I need you guys to go to the practice section of our Google Classroom, and then let me try to show you where I'm talking about. If you go here, this is today's note, today's Google Classroom, and then practice section, test number 4, section 3B. That's what we're going to begin first, okay? Section 3B. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 15 minutes to do these questions, and then you need to upload your answers to the Google form. Okay, start now. No calculator, right? Of course. All right, you guys have about a minute and a half left. Okay, I know a couple of you guys finished a bit earlier. Is there anybody who needs more time? Raise your hand. No, you guys all good? You think you can finish it? Okay, good, good. Keep it up, guys. About a minute left. Oh, alrighty, guys. So time's up. Let me see how you guys have done it. Now I'm looking for a few more people uh, submitting your answers here. Alrighty, guys. Okay, I'm looking for a few more people, guys. Come on, please submit your work. Alrighty, guys. Okay, okay. So let's try to look at these things together. So I have a request for number 13 and 15. So 13, 14, 15, in fact. So we're gonna go over those three questions. If you have anything else, you let me know. Number 19, got it. 13, 14, 15, number 19. All right, guys. By the way, I didn't forget about the homework that you guys asked me to go over. So we're gonna do that a bit later. I wanted to take a little bit of break from that set of questions. That's why. All right, so here it goes, guys. Number 13, 14, 15 first. So in case of number 13, when you have this complex number, what they want you to do is they want you to multiply by something called conjugate, top and bottom, and then that's how you can simplify this. All right, now, so then in this case, the way which we can do it is, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 3, in this case, 3i plus 2. I could do it in either way. It doesn't have to be, what you call it, you know, or many of you guys might be feeling better by just multiplying by negative 3i minus 2. Either one is fine. Okay? Now, then in this case, what do we end up getting, guys? I gotta multiply top and bottom by the same way. Then, the bottom one is difference of two squares. So we have 3i squares. So can I call that as maybe 9i squared? and minus 4. How about the numerator? We're going to do these two become 6i squared, and then plus 4i, and then plus 3i, and lastly plus 2. Then my numerator, this becomes negative 1, hence negative 6. Negative 6 plus 2 becomes negative 4, and plus 7i. And the bottom becomes negative, I squared is negative 1, so negative 9, negative 4, it becomes negative 13. The fact that they're looking for value of b is the coefficient of I, so in fact this could have been equal to negative 4 over negative 13, and then plus 7 over negative 13i. I can separate them in that way. Then what's the coefficient of b? That's negative 7 over 13, which is choice C. That becomes our answer. All right, so that's what we can do for this question. Now let's move on to the next one. Number 14. So in case of number 14, it's rather simple yet sometimes confusing. And then so what I'm going to do is I think I might have shared this one time with you guys before, but we're going to try to look at the relationship. We're going to be we're gonna try to look at the relationship of how this one is written. Now, actually, but we'll see what happened here. The train conductor uses the equation above to set the speed s in miles per hour of the train carrying the c tons of cargo. So according to the equation, what is the best interpretation of number 5? Now, so I think what do you call that? There may be a slight typo in this case. We'll see. We'll see if they answered it because technically the slope is negative 5. Do you see that, guys? Slope is negative 5. This, in fact, is the negation of the slope. So technically, that's how it is written. By the way, on the College Board exam, this is not from College Board, but in the actual College Board exam, they will say negative 5. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Is that clear? Is that clear, guys? But this is from another publisher that they're trying to copy the questions from College Board, but they put it as a 5. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm gonna look at this one as 5, not as a negative 5. Is that clear, guys? Now, when you look at the slope, slope is change of y over change of x. In this case, change of y is what? Change of s over change of c. So change of s as in what we call speed over change of cargo in tons. And that ratio is what? 5. That means I can express that as a 5 over 1. That's one option. Meaning I set the denominator equal to 1. Another way for me to do it is this. I can set the numerator equal to 1. Then my denominator becomes 1/5. Do you see that ratio? 1 over 1/5 is in fact equal to 5 over 1. So those are the two major relationships. So now, as I told you before, technically, the way it is written here, they excluded the negative sign. Because what negative sign happens is that as the cargo goes up, speed will go down. And that concept is made by negative sign. But they intentionally took that off. So that means the ratio is simply 5 to 1. And then what ends up happening is they have to have the same sign, unfortunately. So for every increase of 1 ton of cargo, which is this one, right? The conductor increases the train speed by 5 miles per hour. In fact, that is correct. I'm gonna see. What did the answer key say, guys? Can somebody tell me? Because my guess is they probably made a typo. That's why. Okay. Answer key says B. Let's see. For every decrease of one ton of cargo, the conductor increased. Okay, based upon the writing as it is, the answer should be A. Okay, the answer should be A. So if you got it wrong, by typing A, then I'm sorry, they made a typo. So based upon as it is written, in fact, the answer should be A. What they wanted to do, sorry about that, guys. What the question wanted to do was, instead of 5, they wanted to give it as a -5. When you have a sloping the -5, while one increases, the other one has to decrease, isn't it? That's the concept that they were looking for, but they wrote the questions wrong. So sorry about that. So hear me carefully. If the slope was -5, then the answer would be B. When slope is equal to 5, then answer has to be equal to where? A. Is that clear, guys? So that's what they so sorry for the confusion, guys. So technically, if you chose A, you should have been marked right for this one. Sorry about that, guys. And the other two just doesn't make sense because when cargo increases or decreases by 5 tons, that means the denominator changes by 5, then the numerator is supposed to change by 25 because the ratio is 5 to 1. So it has to be A or B, but that's basically the breakdown of that. All right, guys. I'm hoping that this clear up the confusion for some of you guys. Those especially if you chose A intentionally because slope was positive, but yeah, it was a mistake on the question. Sorry about that, guys. Number 15, guys. Let's look at that. So x equals such, and then y equals such. How many ordered pairs of the x and y plane have the solution? Okay, so now, in this case, they're not looking for what the ordered pairs are, but they're looking for how many. Soon as they're talking about how many, what should you be thinking about? Discriminant. B squared minus 4ac. So as you guys remember, a times x squared plus b times x plus c equal to 0. When your equation comes down to this quadratic, and you have to realize that b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, that means you have 0 real solution. Okay, by the way, in this question, they're assuming the real solutions. Okay, that's one thing that I kind of disagree with. Not kind of, actually disagreeing with the College Board. College Board are usually good with math, but except this concept, actually, they botched it a little bit. And then these days, they usually use the word intersection, which implies a real solution, or they specify that it's a real solution. Okay, now b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. That means you have one real solution. And then b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0. That means you have two real solutions. All right, so what I need to do is this. I want to get rid of y's and get everything in terms of x. How am I going to do that? Oh, 2y and 4y. I know that this can be 2y is equal to 1 minus x. Would you agree? So what I'm going to do to get 4y, I'm going to double this, so I get 2 minus 2x. So I'm going to bring everything onto one side, make a standard form of quadratic equation. Then what I end up getting is x squared, and then plus 2x, and subtracting, today I get plus 1. So here comes another thing, guys. I understand I could use these because I told you how many order pairs. That means they're talking about the discriminant, right? But at the same time, what do you realize, guys? 121. 121. Why am I saying 121? 121 is a perfect square, as you guys know. This is a perfect square, as in x plus 1 square. So how many solutions will you end up getting? One solution. So we get choice B to be the answer. Are we good so far? Yeah. If you have to choose to use the discriminant, you will still get discriminant to be equal to 0, which implies one real solution. Let me try to do that. B squared, which is what? 2 squared minus 4. A equals 1. C is equal to 1. Oh, 4 minus 4, which is equal to 0. That still implies that you have one solution. Are you guys good so far? Yeah? Next. Number 19. So in case of number 19, what's going to be happening is, okay, so I have two fractions. Subtracting and get you 5 over 3. For what value of x is this equation above true? So now what I'm going to do is this. I want to get rid of denominators. Nice way is multiply by common denominator, which is 6x, isn't it? So I'm going to multiply this one by 6x. Multiply this one by 6x. Okay? Then what do I end up getting, guys? 6x cancels out with the 2x, gets me what, 3? So total it becomes 9 minus 6x, and then 3x cancels away, gets me 2 minus 4. 2 times 2 equals 4. And here, 3 and then 6 cancels away, gets me 2. So we have 10x. So what do we get, guys? We have 5 equals 10x. So x equals what? 5 over 10, which is equal to 1/2. So that's what we could have done. Is that okay, guys, for you? Yeah? Alrighty. So that's something that which we could have done. All right, guys. Now, then what we're going to be doing is this. Let's go back to our homework number 1 again. Okay, and then we're going to finish up the going over those questions. Yeah. So, now I want you to organize back to homework number 1. I think we have gone over up to question number 27. So I think we're going to go over the rest of them now. Which means 28, 29, and 33, 38. Okay, and then I have 18 as well. Okay, so 28, 29, 33, 38. Okay, here it goes. So this question is number 28 from homework number 1 from the last week. All right, so then let's look at it. Clara received a score on a test that was 5% higher than the class average for the test. Okay. So now, soon as I see the 5% higher, I'm not sure if it's related or not, but I'm going to think about 1.05 because 5% higher, that means 105% in decimal form. Now, if Clara's score was 85%, then what was the class average rounded to the nearest whole number? So then, in fact, I don't know what the average is. Let me call that as A. But 1.05 multiplied to it, you get 85. That's essentially what it is. So what's the value of A? I'm going to divide 85 by 1.05. So let's try to do that with your calculator. I get 80.95. So that means almost 81. So choice C becomes the answer. Okay? Now let's look at number 29. So Emily's home library is composed of 9 identical bookshelves. Okay, each bookshelf has 12 shelving units within it, and then each of which contains approximately the same number of books. Okay, to find the rough estimate of the number of books in her library, Emily counted the number of books in one bookshelf in each bookshelf, one shelf in each bookshelf. Okay, the results are below. So that means when I look at these numbers, what do I realize, guys? Oh, okay, a bunch of different averages a little bit, isn't it? So what I need to do is I need to figure out the average of these values. That represents number of books in one bookshelf, one shelf in the bookshelf. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add them up and divide by 9. Okay, so let's see what we end up getting. I get around 94. So I have around 94 books per shelf in each bookshelf. But how many shelves are in each bookshelf? So it says Emily's home has 9 identical bookshelves, so we have 9 of them, but each bookshelf has 12 shelving units. So what are we gonna do? In one shelf, we have 94, but we have 12 of those. So I'm gonna multiply that by 12. I get about 1100 number of books. So that's how many books that I have in one bookshelf. How many bookshelves do we have? 9 of them. So I'm going to multiply that by 9. So I get a bit more than 10,000. So which one is my answer? Choice C. So here I'm multiplying this one by what? 12 and multiply that by 9 because one bookshelf, an entire total. Right? That's the idea which we have. So this is mere reading question, nothing too much complicated. Number 33. Joe can read at least 32 pages and as many as 40 pages per hour. So Joe can read 32 to 40 pages. Given this, what is a possible amount of time in hours it could take Joe to read 200 pages, right? 200 pages. So then, what are we looking at here, guys? Then at most, uh, what we're going to be doing is 200 pages and then divide that by what? 40 pages, isn't it? Then 200 divided by 40. That will get us the minimum amount of time, isn't it? So what do we end up getting, guys? Oh, that's equal to 5. Why am I trying to even calculate this one? Now, and second one is what? 32. So, 200 divided by 32. That's 6.25. So, in fact, We are looking for anything uh, between 5 to 6.25 hours. That's basically what we have to do. Okay, that's all there is, nothing much. All right. Now, let's try to look at the next question. Number 30, I believe it was 30. 38. Okay. All right, number 38. Darren uses an empty rubber cone to block a block of traffic. Okay. I mean, I guess a traffic cone, I guess, right? The cone has a volume of this much, and then uh, if the cone is 30 inches high, what is the diameter? So in this case, we have to actually figure out the volume formula. How do you find the volume of the cone? That's 1/3 pi r square h. So in this case, what I can do is this. Since I know that height is 30, so 1/3 pi r square times 30 is equal to 810 pi. And notice that this one is in inches and then in feet as well. So here I can cancel away the pi's, and 30 times 1/3 gets you 10. So when you divide by 10, then r squared is equal to, what do we get, guys? We get 81. Then r should be equal to 9. But what they're looking for is diameter. So diameter is in fact 18 inches. So I need to go from 18 inches to the what? Feet. How do you do that? Divide by 12. So 18 divided by 12 becomes what? 1.5 feet. So 1.5 would have been the answer. How about that, guys? Is that okay? Yeah? All right. Now we're going to go for number 18. There was another question requested. Number 18. All right. So here it goes. A survey counted the number of flowers on the bushes in a park. Okay, average number of flowers was 34, while median was 45. Oh, okay. What does that mean? Average is 34, while median is 45. What factor most likely would account for the difference between the average and then the median? Now, let me just give you one quick example. All right. So I'm just gonna use the example of, let us say, in a basketball team. Okay. In a basketball team, I'm looking at the salary of a basketball team. All right. And then many of them receive the salary around this much. That's $1 million to, let us say, $5 million. Many of them gets that much of salary. Okay. But guess what, guys? There's one person who gets $40 million. One person gets $40 million. What happened to the average, guys? Without this person, average and mean was the same by symmetry. But when one person who gets $40 million, while everybody else gets $1 to $5 million, what happened? Average shoots up like crazy. While the middle number is still here, median is still here, but average is way up. Why? Because of the one outlier. So what outlier does is that it brings the average. Do you understand that, guys? What outliers do is it brings the average. So for example, when I'm looking at these two numbers, for example, They say average was 34. So that means 34 was around here. That's the average. And median is 45. My one idea which you can think about, there could be some sort of outliers way down below that brings the average down a little bit. Is that clear, guys? That's a general idea, but let's see if this what do you call it? I'm not sure if the choices are addressing that or not. There are some bushes with extremely few flowers. Oh, that makes sense here. That's why average went down. The mode of the data was the number greater than 45. We have no idea what the mode is, in fact, so we cannot tell anything about B. Many bushes had between 34 to 45. That also we have no idea. There could be, there couldn't be, who knows? As you guys can tell here, in this example, I don't have to have a lot. I don't have to have a lot between average to the what you call it median. So it's just that we have no idea. There's a little variance on this number. In fact, variance is the another variance is a square of standard deviation, and then what's usually happening is the in this kind of in this kind of cases it increases what do you call it a variance by far. So the best answer in this case would have been choice A. Would have been the best answer. Okay. Now, so then with this one, we're gonna close up going over homework number uh, 2 from last uh, week, and then now I want to check out on homework number 1 a little bit. How was the statistics? Because I gave you 2 sections, statistics 1 and statistics 2. Were you guys okay for that one by any chance? Yeah. Today, actually, what I was thinking about is I'm thinking about going over some volume questions. So let's try to look at that then. I want to focus on that a bit more. All right, here it goes, guys. So, uh, okay, I'm just gonna give you a few typical questions first, and then we're gonna move on to a bit more complex ones. So, how about this one, guys? Or maybe, you know what? I'm gonna try to do it this way. So, if you have an answer, shoot it over to me. But yeah, why don't you can use calculator for this one. By the way, do you only have 30 more minutes now? Is it already 1 o'clock? Wow, time flies. I don't know why. Oh. You know why? Because I'm on the beach, that's why. I don't know about you. But okay, guys. So as you guys are doing this one, I'm just gonna give you a couple ideas that what you should know, right? So here we have, first of all, we are looking at two different figures here, isn't it? First one is a sphere. Okay, right over here. Mhm. So in case of sphere, what do I realize, guys? So we have two things going on. We have volume. Volume is what? 4/3 pi r cubed. You should memorize them. And surface area is in fact 4 pi r square. Okay, nothing much more than that. Those two are the formulas which you guys have to know. How about the cone, right? When you have cone, that's r, that's h, and then this is L. L is a slant height. You have to realize the volume is 1/3 pi r square h, and surface area actually has two components, lateral area and then the bottom. So bottom is pi r square, and lateral area is pi r 8, pi r l. Okay, so those are the two formulas that which you should know. Now, based upon this one, what are we going to do here? Each ice cream cone contains the right circular cone that is filled with ice cream until the hemisphere is formed above the cone, right over here. The right circular cone has a base radius of 5 and then slant height of 15. Okay, if the slant height is, oh, I thought this was a real height. If it's a slant height is 15, what is a real height, guys? We have to use the Pythagorean theorem, isn't it? Oh, I want to be lazy. I realize that this is 3 times 3, this is 3 times 5, then this must be 3 times 4, which is equal to 12. Yeah? All right, so then what we end up getting is, uh, and then what is the volume of the ice cream? So I have to add up the hemisphere and then the cone. So hemisphere is what? 2/3 instead of 4/3 because half of that. Pi 9 cubed. Plus the cone is 1/3 pi 9 squared times 12. So I don't really care about the pi because it seems like we are keeping the pi. I'm just going to calculate the rest of them using the calculator. Then we have 2/3 times uh, 9 cubed plus, and then we have 81 times 4 essentially. So 8, 10. So choice B becomes the answer, therefore. How about that, guys? Is it okay? So it's not bad, right? Now, how about this one, though? Okay, okay. I'm getting some answers. Yes. Anybody else? All right. So this one takes I mean, actually, what I have done was this because they're all equal in length. One thing that's kind of nice was, did you realize that I could actually take this piece? What if I take that piece, guys, put it over here? How about that? Then, as if, as if I don't have this piece anymore, and then mine ends right over here, isn't it? Then I have a rectangular box where height is zero point 0.4 because zero point 0.2 is each rise. Then what I can do is, okay, because we're looking for the volume, I mean the mass, whether I put this piece over here or left it over there, it doesn't matter, it's going to be the same weight. I just made a figure a bit simpler by doing this. So what we end up getting is the volume is what, 5 times 6 times zero point 0.4. But by the density, if I were to multiply that 130, then that becomes my final answer, right? So let's try to do that. 5 times 6 times zero point 0.4 times 130, then we get 1560. That's what we can do. How about that, guys? Is it okay? Now, so then let's organize some of these ideas just a little bit, okay? So I just talked about briefly about these two things, but what if I were to give you a few more other things, such as this? One of the most popular concepts which we should know is a cube. We know the volume is, if I call each side as S, volume is side cube, surface area is in fact equal to, yes, 6 times S squared. We got that. That's the beginning. But the thing is, there are other things that I need you guys to know, such as this. In case of a cube, there's a special ratio of 1 to 3, as in, let me try to sketch that as much as I can. If the length of a side is 1, all right, and the length of diagonal of a face, is the diagonal of a face, that's square root of 2. 1 radical 2, obviously, right? But how about diagonal in 3D? So from corner to corner, you see that, guys? From corner to opposite corner, that length is in fact equal to square root of 3. So the ratio is 1 radical 2 radical 3. That's basically the ratio of the dimensions of a cube. All right. Now, then because cube is so popular, even though it wasn't on the part of practice questions that I'm giving you as a homework, but I want to give you a couple of questions that has been popular so far. So let me try to get you this question here, guys. Ready? I have a cube. Okay, something like this. This would be my first question. If you have an answer, let me know. Okay. Now, where is the center? Center is in the middle of the cube, isn't it? Middle of the cube. So if you think about it, which ratio am I referring to? I'm referring to the green one. Do you see that, guys? Referring to the green one. So imagine if I have the center right over here inside. If I have a cube, it's right in the middle of the cube. Then what is that length? You know what? That length is in fact half of the length from corner to corner. You see the corner to corner, the diagonal in 3D is double the length of from center to A. So from here to here, because each side is equal to 6, you know that this length would have been 6 radical 3. You see, because I'm referring to this one, diagonal to diagonal. So therefore, that's what I would have gotten. But I'm measuring the distance from center to, the corner. So therefore, it's going to be half of the 6 radical 3, which becomes 3 radical 3 would have been the answer. How about that, guys? Okay. So let me get you another question that can help you understand this idea a bit better. How about this, guys? I have a sphere, and then I have a cube. Let me just try to. Nah. I don't know if it works. Something like this. Okay. So I have a cube is inside of the sphere. Okay. So my question to you is this. How about that, guys? If you have an answer, let me know. Okay, we have a couple different answers. Almost like double of each other. Alrighty. And in this case, one thing that which you have to realize is this. What's the relationship here? I realize that I kind of shows you over here, but this length, that's important. Because what that length tells us is that the diameter of the sphere is in fact equal to the diagonal of the cube. So radius is 6, so that means diameter is 12. That must be the diagonal of the cube. But I don't know what the length of one side is, so I'm going to call that side as A. If the side is A, what is the diagonal? Okay. Let's talk about the ratio. This is in fact radical 3 times of the side. So in this case, if that's A, then this is A radical 3. So we can say that it's got to be what? A radical 3. So when you divide by radical 3, A is equal to 12 divided by radical 3. When you multiply top and bottom by radical 3, you get to realize that we get 12 radical 3 over 3. Hence, you get 4 radical 3. So that becomes our final answer. Now, obviously, if you do 4, you get about 6.9-ish. Yes. How about that, guys? Is it okay? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things which we can do with the, what should we call it out? Cube. I'm going to get you a couple more questions here. First question is this. I had a cube, and each side is 4. Okay? But guess what, guys? I'm going to cut along this line, creating two pieces and creating two pieces like that, right? Oops. Creating two pieces. My question is, what is the sum of surface areas of the smaller uh, solid? Okay. So I had originally a cube, but cut through the middle, creating two smaller, like half cubes, right? Now, then my question is, what is the sum of the surface areas of the smaller cubes? Okay, I just got one, bam, 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 one after the other. Nice. And then I like the answers, guys. Good job. So, in this case, what many of us can do is we can try to what do you call that? Find the dimension, or find the surface area of 1, and then we can double that, as in, okay, this one is equal to what, 2, this one is 4, and that's 4. So I can figure out the surface area of this one. Just for your information, how would you find the surface area of the rectangular solid? Surface area of the rectangular solid is what? 2 times of AB plus BC plus AC. Each one represents the front and back, or side to side, or up and down, one of those, right? Now, uh, but instead of doing that, right, that's one way for you to do it. Another way for you to do it is, uh, and then you can figure it out. Another thing is this. Wait a minute. I know the surface area of the cube, because surface area of the cube is 6 times side square. So we get, what should we call it out? Side is, one face is 16, and then I have 6 of those. That's why it's a cube. But did you realize that in this case, how many same surfaces do I have? Originally, I have 6 of them, but did you realize that I end up creating 2 more? One right over here, and another one is on the other side, which we cannot see. Right there. In fact, these are the 2 newly created faces from this face by cutting. So therefore, instead of 6 times of s squared, in this case would be 8 times 4 squared, which would have been equal to 128. And that becomes our answer for this one. All right, guys. So today, we're gonna stop here, and then we have given you more homework, and then I think Anthony's about to reach out to you for more practices. So stay well, stay warm tomorrow, and then we'll see if there's another snow day, or maybe at least delayed opening or something, right? Yeah. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you next time. All right. Bye.